All right, welcome back to another Conquest Corner. On this particular episode, we're going to keep this hopefully pretty brief. The goal of this is we're going to talk about some of the one-player starter bundles that Parabellum Games is doing right now. So be aware, filming this near the end of April. If you check this in a month or 2 months, it might be gone. But for right now, they have some really good deals going. I want to talk about the number of points that you see in those lists, what they give you, show a little bit of just the sort of value you have, and thoughts on how to expand from there. In this particular one, we're going to be going through Spires as well as 100 Kingdoms. Hope to do the other ones as well. I might not be able to do them today, so my hope is tomorrow. But these are the ones I kind of liked the most personally, just because of my own preferences. So that's why I figured I'd start with that. Now, keep in mind, when we take a look at these bundles, which we'll pull up the first one for Spires here. When we take a look at the Spires bundle, they list it at the 260 right there. But remember, if you use our discount code, you can save it further 10%. So you're looking at, not very much money altogether. We're going to see that this army here is in the 1500 point level, about mid 1500s if memory serves. But so for what you get the old box, the new box, the 5th anniversary box, I'm very, very excited about because it gives you Lineage Highborn. 6 Avatar had to be run as 2 units of 3 based off of what this has, because the Centaurs and the Incarnate are both restricted choices, so you need the 2 mainstays. So you're essentially getting all Brute type units, or Brutes, but Brute style units. And then for the 2023 one, you're getting some Brute drones, you're getting some Bound clones, Vanguard clones, or Infiltrators, depending which way you want to run them. Of course, same thing with the Onslaught or Bound clones, depending on you want to do that. You're getting 12 Marksmen, and you're getting a High Clone Executor. So when you take a look at this, you're getting a combination where this one has a bit more of the normal infantry, including some Brutes, and then this one's just giving you everything that's large and in charge in your army. So let's talk about what you actually get then. All right, so if we look at that base box, then we're looking at about 1,540 points now for this. Because of options here, when we take a look, it could be Bound clones or Onslaught drones, but when you look at his options, the Onslaught aren't here, so I put him in as Bound, of course. So I kind of built it as the way you can for a good legal force right now. So you're looking at 1,540 points, so you're almost to 2K. You're a little bit short, and you can do that for 260, or like I said, save another 26 if you use our discount code that we have. I did check, actually, the codes do work still on these. So the way they're bundling it, you're essentially getting, 60-something off. And then you do that, you're now getting closer to almost 100 off. Not off of the boxes, not counting what the boxes are cheaper than doing individual boxes. So with that, if you buy a couple other items with using the discount code as well, you might be back to, close to the base cost with a little bit extra, and then you have a full-fledged 2,000 point army. So let's talk about what we would do here, the kind of things that I did. So for leader, I choose a High Clone Executor. I like him because coordinated assault, you get to, during your first draw command step card, draw 3 cards, get to resolve them. So that's a big tempo swing. So I'm choosing him. The Lineage Highborn just gets to choose an extra upgrade or something like that. I don't care about that whatsoever. I'm fine with the Lineage getting nothing else on him. So we have these. Let me shrink this window down a little bit, actually, so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. For things I chose here, I did choose Sovereign Lineage because High Clone Executor or Lineage Highborn, either way. For 5 points of stand, you can up some clashes by 1. So again, I'm going for, in this to make it 2K, I want to add some units and all. I'm not worried about making the world's most competitive list. I want to start with what do we have here and what is some good ways to alter it to get to 2K, maybe without having to get much else in terms of units, and what might be the things you want to expand into so that way in the future, maybe you drop something, throw that in kind of bit. So the first thing I did with this is I want to add superior creations to both units of Avatar. Might add something more, but I just want to add it to them. We're at 1570. For High Clone Executor, I put what adaptive senses I want. They cannot use evasion. Was that the one I wanted to use? It's command pheromones. I think it was adaptive senses just so they can't evade because he does have some cleave. And again, just you can make other options, but I just wanted to kind of keep it something simple and cheap. So I did pop that onto him. 1585. Other things, so what I added from there, I think Biomancers really help the list, and I really help make them sing. So I absolutely stack on a Biomancer. That Biomancer, notice for what his options are if you want to go nice and cheap. So if you want to take what you have base and get a couple extra units, you could get a unit of Force-Grown Drones. Now it gives him somewhere he can go. For mutations, is it mutation that I want, or is it a mastery? Mastery. Mastery of the Flesh. He gets 2 character actions per activation. The big thing is he can do 2 Biomancies. Because if he's in a unit of Force-Grown Drones, they are light. One of his, is it, I always forget which one of these it is. Yeah, there it is. This is the subdermal keratin induction. You can make them medium. So that means this unit can score. Now, they're not going to survive very well. But again, I'm going with, hey, let's throw something in to make it a 2K list. Other thing I've thrown in, because something he can fund that he could take, get a monster, get an abomination. That makes you at now 1965 for points. You have an abomination. The abomination is not amazing, but he is pretty good because it's 10 attacks with a very fast move of 10, cleave 1, flurry, so you're not really so worried about the fact you're only in Clash of 2. You get some impact hits as well. This is something that wants to hunt the later stuff that your opponent has. Hunt their backfield, small, like 3-man group objective holders. For otherwise, what you can go from here, you can do superior creations on something if you want. Useless there. You could absolutely put on the brute drones if you want to at least get them to 3s, and then that way on a charge they're sitting on 4s, but flurry. So maybe we'll save it. Executor, we put that on him. Mostly command models. You can give some standards if you want, or a standard to make sure at least one of them gets a reroll. Maybe I do that for the unit with a highborn in it, or their standard's pretty cheap. For the centaurs, move 8. Now you're much more liable to actually get in. Give them the unstoppable. They don't need superior creations. Remember, it only can go up to a max of 3. Marksmen don't need anything. Bound. I mean, your executor's going on one of the 2 units. Probably based off of that, probably the Vanguard. Just because they have Vanguard, they have shields, so a little bit better. Give them superior creations, 10 points. Standard's too much. Officers are too much. You could do that or drop it instead. If you don't care about that, you could drop that. Put on a standard. And now you have a spare 10 points. You might be able to find something for 10 points. Again, I'm not worried about those. Oh, yeah. So he actually has to take a tactic as well. Tactics you get for free. Loose formation if you're worried about them being shot down because you're a small unit currently. Double time, get even further up the field if you want, or give them a bastion. That's the best bet. Give them a little bit more survivability because now they have shields, bastion as well. Now they're looking at defense 4, 6 attacks a guy, naturally sitting on 2s. Again, if you move off something, you can make them hit on 3s, 4s when they're inspired. And that gets you to a list. That gets you just about 2K. I do feel the Biomancers are a really good addition. I think that's something you're going to want sooner or later, so might as well get them now. Abomination is just fun. Other options for this. So if you start with the base list, this is a way to kind of expand out the base to get you there. If you want to vary it up a little bit more, other option you can do, Biomancer can take Bound Clones. So that means he can drop the Bound Clones. Remember, you're putting them with the Vanguard, so it's okay. Yep. He needs another... he needs another mainstay. So what can we do? I think we can mess this around. I could put the Incarnate Sentinels down here that you got. Because he takes the Siege Breaker. So then he's fine. And then he needs something else. He can take the Force-Grown Drones. Or, so you'd still need a thing of drones. But then this way, the Biomancer's in a little bit of a tougher unit, which is what he wants, so he can survive out better. And then he can still make those Force-Grown Drones scoring because it is a distance for this. So it's 12 inches. It doesn't have to be he's in. What's nice about this, it's a little bit too much. So with that, you can drop a little bit to get down to the 2K. You could drop Superior Creations from 2 of your units. Is that about what I put them on? And then Brutes. Yeah, drop Superior Creations. Boom, 2K. 2K, get Siegebreaker. So if that happens to be a model that you really like, you can absolutely pick it up, get that in there. And with this, the base things, if you get a Biomancer, in this case, and again, a Force Ground Drone unit, you could still make this idea work. You could still use every single unit that's in there. If you want some changes, you're not worried about adding something quite as big, my suggestion then, upping the number of marksmen is always good. Having a couple of marksmen beyond that, and having a bigger brick for whatever you want to put your high clone in. So if you don't want to kind of go towards the Biomancies, you could skip this. You could just up the size of these 2 units. That'll get you reasonably close. And then if you wanted, a warband of any of the other things, if you want to say a Ferromancer in there instead or something like that, you could absolutely do those sort of pieces. Or, another not bad option, getting either more Avatara, Centaur Avatara, something to buff out some of these units. Instead of running those 3 packs, you could maybe say run some 4 packs and all. Extra ones are going to cost you 55, so you could easily get to an extra 110 if you make those say 4s, or maybe 1 of 4, 1 of 5, so if you really want to kind of push. So that gives you just a little bit of options. So we looked at what you could start with base, mid 1500s, how you can get to about 2K with, I think, a good addition, and then some other options. Personally, I'd probably do something like this because I just like the Siegebreaker. Not that it's always even amazing. It's good. But I just like it a lot. So that's what we have when we take a look at the Spires. Let's talk about the 100 Kingdoms. All right, 100 Kingdoms box here. Again, same price. And again, we can save you 10% if you want to use that as well. So you can get reasonably cheap here. For the 5th edition starter, you're looking at 6 Crimson Tower, 3 Ash and Dawn, 3 Seal Temple, and a Prior Commander. Again, he's set as Prior Commander of Crimson Tower, although looking through it, I checked multiple times, there's no restriction that calling him that means he has to go in Crimson Tower. It just means some of his special rules, what they technically have. So that's the new box. The old box is going to give you, again, a lot of horse elements and a couple guys on foot. So you're going to get 12 men-at-arms. You're getting some Household Knights. You're getting some Mounted Squires. You're getting Household Guard or Gilded Legion. And you're getting the Mounted Lord here. So, for what we're going to do with this one. No? My apologies. There's 100 Kingdoms. No? Is this one there? There we go. Now again, I tacked it up to make it to the 2K. So we can talk about what you have base. For this base list. Oh, actually, I put quite a bit of things on them. So let's remove that just to talk about base list prices for a second here. Oh, I put some other stuff. Well, I'll take it off in a second, but let's talk about why I put it on there. So I put Indomitable Plate as an heirloom because it had it. Hey, extra wound and defense on the Mounted Noble Lord because the Mounted Noble Lord is going to the Household Guard unit. And then, the Household Knights, my apologies, Household Knights unit. I give him Weapon Master. He gets one of them anyway, so he gets Cleave. And his mastery there is Art of War. I think someone should have Art of War because it just means you get a pass. And this is a game where activation order matters. You're a faction in general that doesn't mind waiting. So that gives you some nice ways to wait. So let me take those off for the moment just to talk about the base points of this. I do that, and if I remove Tip of the Lance from him, that should give us base points. I believe. I don't know. Oh, they got standards. So let's pop those standards off real fast. They got standard, they got standard. So you can see the sorts of things that I put on. That might... Oh, someone else still have something? No. Oh, yeah, he still has a standard. Oh, I put standards all over the place. That's fine. Household Knights. Oh, yeah, I made some things vets. So I did some alterations there as well. Keep in mind for 100 Kingdoms, the options that you get. So for veterans, you double the cost of an officer, like I had there. And you have to have a command model. But from there, you can then take vets, and vets is a free upgrade. If you do, you can add either to your clash or your volley. Notice, you have to have a leader and a standard bearer. So the models you have to add, you have to make sure they add standards. So that gives us then in this case that we're sitting at about 1575, just about the same points as the other army. You saw some of the things I added. So you're looking at, for this, I put them as Household Guard, just because if you're looking at the space guy, he actually doesn't grab Gilded Legion. So you could build him as Gilded Legion, depending on what else you want to take, but he won't help you with that. But a large amount of your points are coming from the second warband. Now, for nice and easy additions, I think a Chapter Mage is great. You notice I had some different things on that Chapter Mage as well. But even if you just keep it kind of base, School of Fire means you get to get some damage out there. And they're absolutely great with Mercenary Crossbowmen. So now you're at 1770 with nothing else fancy for the moment. Heirloom, it just kind of depends on exactly what you want to give, if you want to give anything at all. There it is. She gets Kiss Farewell. Kiss Farewell, in case you're not familiar with it, gives them a Barrage 3, 18-inch, but then Deadly Shot. And if they already have shots, they get +3 Deadly Shot. If you take a look at her, she was already 4. Now she's 7 dice, 18 Deadly Shot. So she's sitting in here in a unit that's AP1. She's Deadly Shot. You're going to get a good amount of damage out of that, and then she can, on her turn, Wizard 6, hit them with School of Fire spell. So you can, AP2 at 14-inch range, non-scaling attunement 3 up. So that's a flat 1800. With spare 200, you could do some easy options like increase the size of her Mercenary Crossbowmen, maybe take another unit of those. You're not going to have enough points to dip into any other sort of character unless you want to remove one of these units. I think 3 packs of all your horses are fine. I don't think you necessarily need to expand those out. I wouldn't bother. It might not be a bad idea to up the Household Knights, or not the Mounted Squires, let them go about, or the Men-at-Arms or Household Guard, so one of your natural humans. The reason why, so the Mounted Noble Lord, we talked about some of the upgrades that I took for him. Why I ended up taking it. The Indomitable Plate, like I said, pretty cheap, and you're just getting extra wounds and defense. So you are now much more survivable. His weapon art, I want to say his weapon master. Yep, give him cleave. It helps with these knights, because these knights don't have cleave. They have impact and brutal impact. But then they get stuck in. So to avoid them getting stuck in, I give them a standard, and we give them a tournament champion. It's +2 to charge distance. It will cost me 50 points to make them vets that way. But when I make them vets in this, again, to kind of keep it cheap, not saying this is the best idea ever, now these guys are essentially going to be on 4s. You have a very good character in there, keeping the rest of it pretty cheap. Beyond that, things you saw I put in on any of them that you feel like you can absolutely put a banner, so that way you get your unstoppable. Kind of depends on what you want to do, if you want to do that at all. For the Master Race, for the Pirate Commander, the reason I give him Tip of the Lance is because then he can give Wedge, and I put him in with probably, where do I want? Sealed Temple. Either one is fine. They already have the good impact, but they already have Wedge. So you can put him with Ash and Dawn if you want, or something like that. If you want to add a little something extra to, actually because their impact, just to make it a little bit more consistent. If you don't, or here, because you have impact 4, now you can get to 4s, so you're very, very reliable. If you don't like that at all, you can keep them a lot cheaper. You can put just about anything else. Like I said, I put it on the Mounted Lord before under the Mastery. So, was it Art of War? Yeah. Someone should take Art of War. Could absolutely be him. Unless you want him to actually have something useful. You could even give him instead Tip of the Lance if you want. You could give him Wedge, because this is 3 impacts with brutal impact. So actually, you know what? Change my mind. He's going to take Tip of the Lance. That means my Pirate Commander is going to take Art of War. That gets me to 1930. That gives me 70 extra points. So 70 points, you could start putting banners all over the place. Or, if for this list, all you actually had to add was a Chapter Mage and a unit of Crossbowmen. So from there, other things you might do instead, you could start upping the stands you have of Men-at-Arms. You could up the amount of stands you have, or at least add a stand of your household guard. You could make some other things vets. That's entirely up to you. But I said it does double it, and if you're going to do that, it's not enough if you're a small list. You kind of need to get bigger, and I don't really have the points to get bigger, so I probably wouldn't worry about it. And again, if you don't want to take veterans at all, you can kind of just avoid that. So from here, I'd probably get another box of crossbowmen, and in base list, could add 2 out of the 3 stands. So I could actually be a 5-pack of crossbowmen with the mage. Now you're actually really targeting someone. The big problem with this list is it's pretty mins on the units. So if you wanted to run it as 2 crossbow units, you can, but then you have to drop something. Probably what I would drop, since he's given the +1, I'd probably drop the veterans from here just to make it cheaper. That's probably what I would end up dropping. I'd probably keep them with their standard just because that's where the Lord is. Or if I do drop that tourney champion, I can give, wherever the prior commander is, a banner. And then I could make it 2 stacks of 3 instead of 1 of 5 with the chapter mage. But I do like that in general. So this one, you need to add overall, from kind of the way I put together a list, the least amount of stuff. Again, I'm not saying this is necessarily an amazing list, but I do think this has a very solid base. I do think this is a very good addition. And then I think you're sprinkling things to taste. I sprinkled in such a way to avoid having to get a lot of additional models. So when looking at this, off of this, using what they have, say using our discount as well, you're looking at maybe 300. And then you have a full 2K list. And like I said, you can kind of get away, if you don't want to buy the extra, you can get away with 1 stand and just slap on, sorry, didn't lower it. There we go. You could just put on some banners. That way you can get away with just getting a chapter mage and a set of crossbowmen. And then you're all set. So that's one where you can kind of do it for almost nothing extra. And then you have a full legal 2K that is honestly quite good because this second warband is very, very strong. Your household knights with your mounted lord is going to be able to do work. Every one of these units does work. You have some shooting, which is going to help you out, especially shooting early. Things especially that are looking at the flanks of any of your units that are trying to tie them down, because a lot of these want to charge. So you have to watch that. You have some mounted squires to get up into someone's face early just to delay them. And then you have 2 3-pack of infantry that are going to hang back. And their only goal is grab objectives. So I would have the squires push forward, bows push into a spot to be able to do some shots, grab the objectives, everyone else pushes in, and just smacks them around as best you can. So that's my thought on this. So for this, I just wanted to share thoughts on these 2 armies. Like I said, I might do some of the other ones. I haven't actually built something out for them, so I don't know if I feel comfortable enough to do it right this moment, but I would like to record something for them as well. We'll see. But I at least wanted to get it out to start with for the ones that I felt best about. So if you want to take advantage of any of these, do so soon. We don't know how long these are sticking around. You should see this video. It'll be Monday when you see this video. If you're thinking about it, now's a great time to get into the game. Like I said, we have our code as well, Train Kickers. It'll be in the show notes and all. Saves you a bit more. With that, you can easily get to 2K. Even if not, even if you want to wait, get into the 2K, you're pretty close. 1,500 or so points, or 1,600 when you put an upgrade or 2, is a perfectly good points to play this game at. It will give you enough of the taste of the game, close enough to the full thing. You can play real missions with that. You're only a unit or 2 down in general. So you can learn it that way. And especially if you're looking at either of these options, they do have infantry units, of course. You're probably going to see that. But both sides also have a box of heavy things. So you are cutting down the amount of stuff you have to build. Like for my Sorcerer Kings list, my very first list, I had to assemble 98 infantry models because I had, 6 stands, Roger Kerr, 6 stands ghouls. This you can get away with for less in general. And then not even counting the other things I had to assemble. Here, you're looking at 13 things in this box, add to that 13, 14. So you're looking at 17, and then you're looking at a bunch of little individual things there. So you are cutting down the amount of stuff that you actually have to put together. So that'll help. And it's very much the same for the Spires one. All right. Hopefully some people find that useful. Hopefully they can, like I said, if you want to capitalize on this, get into this game right now. Great time to get into it. I know at least today when I was actually playing some Song of Ice and Fire, but there's 2 different games. Yesterday we had a bunch of games going on locals. Like I said, if you're local to us in Jersey, we're playing a bunch of it. Wherever you are, now's a great time to get in, get your friends in, pick up the faction that you've been thinking about, give yourself some options and all like that, and save yourself money in a variety of ways for this. All right, you should see some more stuff coming out for us, hopefully related to Conquest soon, and some battle reports and all. Probably maybe about another week I want to start filming it. I now have some other options of when I can film. I'm just trying to finish up my semester before I do so, because right now it's just finals is nuts. So once that's over, then I have more time, because then that way if a problem happens, we can fix it. All right, well, on behalf of everyone here at the show, then, have a good hobbying. It's a great gaming.